Hey, everybody, welcome to November. It is your games of the month. I'm Joel. That is Jeremy. And Jeremy, we got a lot of teams playing in some playoffs here, but we're going to focus on football for this one because there's a lot of really good football teams out there. And basically, if you're still playing football in November in Minnesota, you had a good season.
You know, it's always funny how fast the fall seasons go, but here we are, and we're talking section finals, and we're talking some really good local teams still around and still fighting for the chance to not only get to the state tournament, but to even fight for a state championship. And we saw locally, we saw it on full display last fall, and we're getting an up-close look at it again this year, and looks like we've got a few contenders in there, Joel.
We certainly do. We got right now, we got one number one ranked team in the state, and it's not Hutchinson. It's Lester Prairie. They're ranked number one in the state in Class A. They're having a fantastic season, and they're hoping to play deep into November football.
Reminds me a little bit, Joel, of Mare Lutheran last year when we saw Mare Lutheran go on that run and end up winning a state title. For Lester Prairie, this is a group that they've been waiting for the last 2 or 3 years. Really good senior skill players. That line is really, really good, full of juniors, really, on both lines. So just a fun team, and it's fun for these small schools, Joel, when you get these classes and when you get all of these things that kind of come together. Perfect season. They haven't been tested. That's going to be something to see the later that we get into play, just to see how they react when they get into one of those really tight, close games.
Well, one of the teams that has been tested is Hutchinson. They are ranked number 2 in the state, number 1 in their section. Very, very tough schedule. Only lost to Becker, and year in and year out, that's a team, that's a program that you got to consider winning the state title.
And such a good football team this year, Joel, but you and I were talking earlier, they're better than they were 3 weeks ago. They're better than they were 2 weeks ago. And that's what you really love when you get teams like that just keep getting better throughout the year. This is a Hutchinson team that will be the first to tell you they didn't max out early. They got hit in the mouth a little bit by Becker. And sometimes, Joel, we talk about good losses. Well, there is such a thing as a good loss after it happens. It's how you react, and it's, do you make it a good loss? And I think for the Hutch Tigers, maybe it helped them refocus a little bit. I'd be very, very surprised, Joel, if Hutch isn't playing late into the month in the state football playoffs. So should be exciting to see what happens over the course of the next 3 or 4 weeks.
And then we'll wrap up with Section 2 with AAA football. Normally, over the years, Glencoe Silver Lake has done a really nice job in that section. This year, it's kind of been the Dassel, Cokato, and Watertown Mayor show, and both of those two teams, I can see either one of them advancing. They're both good quality teams this year.
Very good teams, and, two programs that, when you look at Watertown, a program that was kind of on the brink, of having to co-op just 5 or 6 years ago. And now here we are, Joel, we're talking about them as one of the best teams in the section. We're talking about them with a brand new football stadium and fighting to go to a state tournament. I mean, how cool of a story is that? And then DC, we've seen it with DC for years. It just seems like it's been a program that continues to rise and continues to get better. And, I think a lot of schools in this area would love to kind of follow the mantra of the Hutch Tigers and how they do things in building a program. And locally here, DC might be as close as you get to kind of mimicking what the Tigers have been able to do over the years.
Those are your games of the month for November. We're looking forward to them and more right here on KDUZ, KARP, and KGLB.